Thank you for joining us for this presentation. If you look around, the economy is changing right before your eyes. We're moving from the industrial age to the information age. As a matter of fact, we've already done it. But we're also moving from a wage-based economy to a performance-based economy. So over the next little while, we're going to show you where we're at the present time and some choices you're going to have to make. If you think about yourself, you think about why should I change? Well, here's some facts that you're going to want to consider about changing. See, you've got a choice. You have two choices, as a matter of fact. You can just keep doing what you're doing, or you can make that change. Anytime you're going to make a change, here's some things to consider. If you look at that slide right there, the middle class is an endangered species. But the thing I want you to think most about is if you think of the consequences if you do nothing. 46% of American workers right now have less than $10,000 in their retirement. 76% of Americans are living from paycheck to paycheck. 51% of American workers make less than $30,000 a year. 38% of American workers are making less than $20,000 a year. 62% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings. And the federal poverty level for a family of five is $28,410, and yet almost 40% of American workers don't even bring in $20,000 a year. Let that sink in for just a moment. And you say, well, Bob, you can construe all types of stats, and you're right. But if you look at this chart, maybe you have just one child, maybe two. Maybe you're making less than $30,000 a year. And you might be right at the federal poverty level. And if you're that close, it's going to be a struggle. Like I said before, the middle class is an endangered species. No matter what you think. And we're out to prove it. The middle class, like I said before, is slowly fading out of sight. And we'll prove it. In Robert Kiyosaki's new book, Second Chance, that'll give you the ammunition you need to prove it and to make up your own mind. See, when I first started reading this book, there was a passage that caught my attention. See, I've been a paycheck earner for 40 years. And, I was conditioned by the current education system. Study hard, get good grades, get a good education, get a good job, stay there for 40 years, and then retire. I felt like it was normal to get a paycheck. But I started doing some deep soul searching behind the meaning of a paycheck. And this is the passage that caught my attention. It says, Rich Dad said that the paycheck is one of the most powerful tools ever created by man. The person who signs the paycheck has the power to enslave another person's body, mind, and soul. And he went on to say, slavery was abolished. The rich created the paycheck. When I heard that, it really stirred my soul because I had never thought about it like that. See, your paycheck dictates where you live, what type of vehicle you drive, where you and your family go on vacation, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of food you eat, what kind of medical care you can afford, how much you can help others through charity. And if you sat down and thought about it, you would be surprised how much of your life is controlled by the paycheck. See, I'm glad my wife encouraged me to become an entrepreneur because instead of depending on a paycheck and just depending on me, in other words, performance-based, if I was still getting a paycheck and I read that passage, that dude might have gave me a heart attack. So what would happen if you or your spouse's paycheck stopped? See, I told you earlier the average American has less than $1,000 in savings. Would that be enough to give you a short-term, fix until you could replace that missing income? Or would a financial crisis come pretty quickly? And in his book, Robert Kiyosaki points out those that are struggling are becoming dependent on food stamps. See, 2008, the last economic meltdown due to the housing crisis, food stamp benefits has risen, and 46.5% of Americans are receiving that government assistance. Now, the problem with that is, with government assistance, that people get used to it. And you try to take that away from them, and they're out in the streets kicking and screaming about the rights. Now, I know people that have gotten them over the years, okay? And they want it off of them as quickly as possible because they want to stand on their own 2 feet. But see, we've made it too easy. See, it used to be when you had food stamps, you had this little coupon book with different denominations of food stamps, and you used to have to sit there at the cashier and tear them out. But see, now we've made it as simple as giving them a credit card. It's called EBT card, electronic benefits transfer, so you won't be embarrassed. See, the middle class is shrinking, and I want you to be the judge of this. See, back in 1970, over 60% of the people in the economy, or excuse me, 65%, made up the middle class in 1970. But by 2020, just 5 short years from now, the middle class will be making up just a little over 40% of the population. Why? Because family debts are increasing. People are more and more in debt. 62%, like I said earlier, have less than $1,000 in their savings. And if you take a look at that chart, 750 billion of it is auto loans. See, the automakers have made it too easy for you. See, now to keep your car payment the same, you have to stretch those payments for 84 months. That's 7 years. 7 years. You've got to drive a car, make payments on the same vehicle for 7 years. Let me tell you what. I promise you, most people are not going to do it. They're going to trade early. Let me explain to you what happens, because you used to be in the car business years ago. When people come in and trade their cars, the used car manager, or they'll have an appraiser on staff, will go out and look at your car, and they'll put a number on it. If that number is more than what you owe on it, that's great. But if it's less than what you owe on it, you have a deficiency, and that deficiency is generally tacked on to the loan for the next vehicle that you're buying, and you're going deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole. And I've been there and I've done that. Fortunately for me, I had a friend who owned an automobile dealership, and we worked out a way that I could finally get the negative balance out and become even again. Credit card debts, $1.5 trillion ever since the housing crisis in 2008. People use their credit cards to survive, to be able to pay their expense. And right now it's great. Credit card interest rates are very, very low, 2.9, 4.9. But there is rumors out there that the Fed is talking about raising their interest rates. Those credit card rates are going to jump to 10%, 12%, 15%. If it got real bad, it could be as high as 20% like it was in the 70s. There's other types of debt out there, $2 trillion, but the granddaddy of them all is student loans. Somewhere between $1 and $3 trillion. This is the new credit card debt. And we're going to be talking more about this, excuse me, in some of the coming slides. You know, the thing I wrote at the very bottom of that slide, get paid on Friday, and by Monday, most Americans are broke. What happens if you have a flat tire on Tuesday? Like I said, most people have less than $1,000 in their savings account. Most people don't have any. But the thing about it is, I've lived it, done it. I've got paid on Friday. By Monday, I was broke. I didn't have any, I spent my paycheck paying bills and doing other things. And had that flat tire on Tuesday. And had to scramble to figure out a way how I was going to get to work. Family debts have increased from 26% in 1970 to 71% in 2010. Credit card debt, $793 billion on this chart. The average credit card debt per household, almost $16,000. If your debts have increased from 26% to 71%, let me tell you something. Most banks and credit unions look at debt to income ratio. 40% of your debt to income. My question for you, where are you at? You better take a look at that. See, student loans are now the old credit card debt. See, the government, I hear it all the time, are encouraging people, go back to school, lift your skills. And let me tell you what, the results are student loan debts quadrupled since 2003. The problem is most college graduates can't find a job in their field of study, and they're still going to have to pay those loans because they don't go away. Unlike credit card debt, student loans cannot be discharged through bankruptcy. I tell people that's the gift that just keeps on giving. And according to that chart, $1 trillion in student loans. 37 million Americans have student loans. Average balance $23,200. And see, student loans are one of the factors that cause the rise in the cost of college. You think about it. I want to go back to paying student loans. If you don't pay them, they're going to garnish your wages. They're going to seize your tax refunds every year till you pay them off. And because they're borrowed through the federal government, and just like your taxes, the government's going to get theirs first. And colleges think that, okay, we can just raise the rates of tuition and books and things like that because students and their parents can borrow the money. Oh, by the way, parents, did you co-sign for your son or daughter's student loan? If they don't pay it, they are going to come after you. And if you're getting toward retirement age, that's the last thing you want to think about is the federal government coming after you for little Johnny or little Susie's student loan. And someday you're looking forward to retirement. Where are you? Like I said before, 46% of all American workers have less than $10,000 in their retirement account. 65% of Americans have no retirement account at all. 97% of people that retire, of all people that retire, end up depending on government, friends, family, or charity to survive those retirement years. 65 million people don't have a retirement account. Why? Because they paid into Social Security. Let me tell you something. Social Security, I don't care what your political affiliation is, I got no dog in this fight, but it's the greatest Ponzi scheme ever devised. If a private individual did what they've done to Social Security, you would be in jail because it's broke. The government has traded your funds in the Social Security Trust Fund for government IOUs. They call them Treasury notes. And guess what? Those IOUs have got to be redeemed by the taxpayer. Guess what? You're the taxpayer. And I'm looking, and I've heard them talk about it on the talking heads on some of the media shows, talking about down the road they're going to means test people. So that means if you were frugal and you built a retirement account and you factored in Social Security, if you don't meet a certain means test, that means that even though you paid in, you may not get the benefit that you were promised by Washington. Like I said before, this is the greatest Ponzi scheme ever devised upon any people in the world. And when you enroll in Social Security, don't forget, you get to get in Medicare. It's broke too. And listen, doctors are taking less Medicare patients. Why? Because they're cutting payments back to the doctors. And they're not covering as many things. So there's more out of pocket for you. And the thing about it is, the thing that really gets me between Social Security and Medicare, you hear the Congress talk about it's an entitlement. No, it's not. You paid into that fund. They took it out of your paycheck first, along with federal taxes and state taxes. It's not an entitlement because you paid into it. Then, here you are, getting ready to retire and trying to get back what you were promised that Washington made to you. So, And like I said, people are still paying in the system. Like I said, it's a Ponzi scheme to me. Here's the ratio to benefit, workers to benefit ratio. In the 60s, it was a little over 5 workers to 1 beneficiary. In 2009, which is the group I belong to, it's 3 workers. 3 workers to 1 person retired. In 2030, it's going to be a little over 2 to 1. Who are the 3 people that's going to cover your retirement? I want to know their names because I want to call them every day and then tell them they need to be at work because I want my check. Wait a minute. I've got 4 grandchildren. I'm going to get them to go to work. I'm going to put them making my retirement. That'd be great. They need to work, keep a papaw. And I hear certain people in Washington, let's soak the rich. It sounds good on paper, but if you want to do some research into the last Bush tax hike. You'll find out that the middle class got soaked, the rich didn't. It didn't work so well. See, like I said, they raised the taxes on the rich, then the middle class paid for most of the increases. Robert Kiyosaki explains the cash flow quadrant, which I've got the graph there. In the upper left-hand corner, that's people that are employees. Employees generally pay somewhere in the neighborhood of about 40% in taxes. In the lower left, there's self-employed professionals like doctors, lawyers, accountants, and people like that that are self-employed in like practices. They pay about 60%. If you look in the upper right, business owners, that's a person that owns a company that has about 500 employees, in general pays about 20%. And then lower right, investors pay no taxes, and that's because their income is a passive income and not a wage-based income. That's not taxable. Investments are not taxable for the most part. If they are, they're very, very little taxes. So, saying they soak the rich, well, most people who have accumulated a lot of wealth are investors. They buy houses and oil wells, and they invest in commodities and things like that. So their money is in investments. It's not out there, wages and things like that. So let's get those CEOs and those management people. All federal income taxes paid in the United States, 5% or a little over 54% is paid by the top 5%, 65% pay the top 10%, 50% of the wage earners pay 96%, almost 97%. Now, at the lower end of the top 50% of wage earners, that average salary is $50,000 a year. $50,000 a year. Think about how much you make. My mentor, Dr. John Maxwell, trained his staff that they never come in with a problem unless they have some solutions. So what are some of the solutions? You could do like that guy on the left right there and bury your head in the sand and hope the problem goes away. Or keep doing what you're doing and just hope things get better. Or here's some other ideas. Invest in gold, real estate, or something like that. Oh, yeah, you don't have the money. Reduce your debt. That's a great idea. But my question is, what are you going to give up? And some people say, well, I'll just start a business. Those big guys that you showed me in that cash flow quadrant only pay 20% in taxes. Okay. So you want to start a business of your own. The average startup cost of a brick and mortar location is about $250,000. Takes months of planning, get your financing in place. If you look at the graph right there, it says idea, employment, make a profit, investment, website, reinvest profits, strategy, marketing, beat competition, find valuable partners, customer service, enjoy profits. And that's just, you've got to get building permits and, it depends on the building and everything. It takes a lot of hard work and planning. And for you, I would hope it pays off. Oh, by the way, I get this thing all the time. Well, I'll just buy me a McDonald's or a Wendy's franchise or a Subway. Average cost for one of those type of investments would be $1 million before the first burger is ever flipped. And it's going to, I promise you, I know people that own McDonald's franchises, it costs a lot more than $1 million to get that done. So how's that new business going? People don't realize, like I said before, on average, you don't see a return on your investment for at least 5 years. And what's the risk? 50% of all businesses fail first year. 20% will fail in year two, another 20% somewhere between years 3 and 9. And if you make it to the 10th year, only about a 10% chance of failure. If you make it past then there is a possibility. Another 5% failure rate between years 10 and 12, just like it says on that graphic. That graphic at that time, 55% of all businesses failed within the first 5 years. It says of the original Fortune 500 companies listed in 1955, which is right before I was born, 87% are gone from the list. So, network marketing. Oh, I hear you right now. I'm going, oh, yeah. Oh, this isn't your grandpa's network marketing business anymore. There is no door-to-door sales. Okay. Let me explain something to you. Even if there was door-to-door sales, you'd be poor because guess what? There's nobody at home to answer the door. It's becoming more widely accepted. You're already doing it. You're just not getting paid for it. Do you ever recommend, restaurants, or you got a good deal at a car dealership, or you got this new thing online and you recommend it to your family and friends? If you answer that question yes, then you're network marketing. You're just not getting paid for it. See, network marketing is no more than moving goods and services by word of mouth advertising, which is the best advertising in the world. See, network marketing companies know that this is a more efficient method of moving goods and services because they don't have to pay out until the good or the service is sold. And you'll be surprised who recommends network marketing, okay? Bill Gates. Given a chance to start all over again, I'd choose network marketing. Robert Kiyosaki says that the network marketing industry, with its unique benefits to those who want more out of life. In an interview with David Letterman, Letterman asked Donald Trump, he said, if you lost everything and you had to start over from scratch, without hesitation, Donald Trump said, I'd find a good network marketing company and go to work. And the audience starts sneering and jeering and shouting. And Trump looked at him and said, that's why I'm sitting here and you're all sitting out there. And one of my favorite mentors, Jim Rohn, had a great observation when he said, network marketing is the big wave of the future. It's taking place in a franchise that requires too much capital for the average investor. So all these people agree that, and Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump agree that the greatest training ground for entrepreneurs is network marketing. So what are some of the benefits? Well, home-based businesses is a $427 billion a year industry. 150 million people in North America belong to network marketing. Somewhere between 34.3 and 36.6 million home-based businesses are out there. An estimated 8,500 new jobs are created daily by home-based businesses. It's becoming the new middle-class economic engine. So who's involved in it? 50% of American households by the end of this year will start a home-based business. 125,000 people will become a part of network marketing this year. But here's a statistic that's not very widely known. 20% of all millionaires were created through a network marketing business. And like I said before, the income generated by network marketing companies will be $427 billion. So what are some of the other benefits? Tax advantages. See, people who are in business for themselves, self-employed people, business owners, here's some of the tax benefits of a home-based business. You're able to deduct expenses that you're going to incur anyway, such as home expenses. Everyone we talk to are potential clients. Expenses related to securing those clients are deductible. Since our business is not limited to one area, travel to is deductible as long as the main purpose is business. And you not only save on income tax, but self-employment tax on every deduction that you're able to take. Now, I'm not a CPA. I want you to consult with your CPA, your tax advisor, your tax preparer, all the advantages of owning a home-based business. Some of these are some just general benefits, but your professional can give you the advantages for your situation. And one more thing, network marketing businesses offer low startup costs, generally less than $1,000. You don't have to stock inventory. You don't have to have employees. You have unlimited potential, little administrative time. With most companies, there's worldwide expansion opportunities. The risk of failure is lower than a conventional business because of the unlimited support from your team members and the company that you might be affiliated with. So let me introduce you to Team Financial Empowerment. See, our mission is to help break people free from the bondage of a paycheck, that the restraints that it puts on people's lives. Our goal is to re-educate people that it's a stone cold fact there is a better way than our current system. See, our current education system only teaches you how to be an employee. They don't teach you anything else except study hard, go to school, get a job, then retire. In this information age economy, that is not going to cut it. The day of the paycheck is slowly coming to an end for the most part. So with Team Financial Empowerment, our organization, we are a non-product based company that we do two things. Give away a mobile app that helps people save time and money with things you're going to purchase anyway. Teach other people how to do the same thing. It's as simple as that. Team Financial Empowerment is proud to be an affiliate with Sherlock Nation, the fourth fastest growing network marketing company in the world. So we're proud to be a part of that. And we're also a proud affiliate of the John Maxwell team, providing leadership, communication, and entrepreneurial training as to develop leaders and entrepreneurs for the 21st century. We want to help people change their mindset from the paycheck to earning as an entrepreneur so they can thrive in the new economy. Usually use professional coaching, one-on-one mentoring to get these things accomplished. So we want to help the next generation of people become successful entrepreneurs. Let's talk a little bit about Sherlock Nation. Sherlock Nation provides a very low cost business that can be developed worldwide. First year cost, about $900. Second year and going forward, it's less than $600 a year. No inventory cost. There is no inventory. You just give away a mobile app. Teach other people how to do the same thing, and we give you full support and training. As a part of the John Maxwell team, he's the #1 leadership developer in the world. Our affiliation with Team Financial Empowerment and the John Maxwell team, you will receive personal growth and development mentoring, professional coaching that will help change your mindset from the paycheck earner to the entrepreneur, and there is a difference. 3-way calls to your prospect to help increase your credibility, and phone and email support to help guide you as you build your business. Let me talk a little bit more about Sherlock Nation. Like I said before, all you're doing is giving away a free mobile app that helps people save time and money, teach other people how to do the same thing. See, Sherlock Nation is cashing in on the e-commerce and mobile commerce markets, which is predicted to be an $8 trillion industry by 2018. We just teach people how to take their smartphones and their other mobile devices and make money with them. So if you want more information about the compensation plan, all that, I don't want to take up people's time that may not be interested. Go to bobdaves.us, bobdaves.us. If you have a question, call 812-606-0739 or send me an email, bobdaves@bluemarble.net, bobdaves@bluemarble.net. Got some final thoughts for you. When you get started with us, with Team Financial Empowerment, you're going to be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. See, we're going to help provide you with world-class training through Sherlock Nation, as well as personal development and growth, plus leadership training with my affiliation with the John Maxwell team. We're going to have weekly training sessions to help guide you as you change from the bondage of a paycheck to the entrepreneur that you want to be. I want to thank you for your time. I'd love to give thanks and credit to Robert Kiyosaki and his new book, Second Chance, for the valuable information that I learned and I've shared with you. I want to thank Eric Worre and the Grow Pro team for the facts about network marketing and the true profession that it's become. I want to thank my wife, Kay, for letting me live the dream of being an entrepreneur. and standing behind me and giving me full support. And finally, this is something I didn't really mention, is the ability to build this business. And it will be something that I can pass on to my children and my grandchildren. Unlike a job, you can't pass that on to your children. But if you build this will be something that you can pass on to your children and your grandchildren. So I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate your patience. I know I put a lot of information out there and you need to digest it. But go to bobdaves.us, bobdaves.us, and get some more information there, and you can make your decision there as to, do I want to stay into the paycheck economy, or do I want to start getting me together a plan B? I've given you the information. It's entirely up to you. But I want you to have a tremendous day tomorrow, and God bless, and good day.